Recently, I attended a conference in Brisbane called the Golden Brands Conference, and I got to witness this beautiful speaker in her element, absolutely sharing about her whole business journey and how she's created amazing success with low ticket offers. So I asked beautiful Corinda Gosling to come and join me on the podcast. So thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure, Christine. It's so nice to be here. I'm so excited to chat with you and your beautiful community today.
Yes. After seeing you speak and everything that you were saying, I was just saying to you before we hit record, like everything you were saying, I was like, yes, yes, yes. Like we're so on point with so much of our messaging and our values by the sounds of it that I was like, this is going to be perfect to bring you on the pod because I talk a lot about high ticket offers. And I thought it'd be perfect to start talking a little bit more about low ticket offers. So before we even dive in though, I'd love for you to share with us a little bit about This Is Co and how you work with clients.
Of course. So This Is Co was started in 2020, and This Is Co is really like this is content, this is copy, this is compelling marketing. And I wanted to create a space that where like women in business could get seen, loved, and selling in a way that they could afford. I had come from really big businesses, amazing marketing agencies, and I knew that there was like so much that could help small business succeed from working in those places. But I knew so often people were priced out of the market. So I took everything that I had known from like my years and years and years in marketing, and I put it into This Is Co. And I brought This Is Co to life. Essentially, it was a service-based business to start with. And I was like, I'm going to charge like the most value for money prices, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I ended up creating a business that was really hard to work in. And I had a few wake-up calls about not being able to replace my corporate income. And instead of working 9 to 5, I started working 5 to 9. So I started selling and serving differently, started selling lower ticket one-off offers, lower ticket memberships. And that essentially is how I now help women get seen, loved, and selling over at This Is Co.
Amazing, amazing. And I feel like there's this element there around like with what you just shared, like when we think about like low ticket and like we can go through like wanting to have something affordable, but I think it's a really hard place because what I love hearing you speak about too is the profitability. Like there's you have to have the profitability piece in place, right? Like it can't just be like, let's just create an offer and think what will people afford and create it from there. Would that be true to say?
Yeah, exactly right. It's definitely not about just affordability. It is about profitability. And the way that we achieve profitability is by making really damn good strategic low ticket offers that will scale. So, yeah, we don't just bundle up anything and start giving it away at like $27 or $47. We want to be like really strategic in the way that we're serving.
Yeah. So can you give us a bit of an example of what you would deem a low ticket offer?
Yeah, so I've got a number of low ticket offers in my business. So a low ticket offer can really be anything from $17 to $49. We've got a lot of psychology in place that tells us at the $50 mark, when I twerk low ticket, the $50 mark stuff starts to become a little bit higher risk psychologically for people. And so $49 and under is really the type of low ticket digital offers that can help businesses to scale because we can sell them to a colder audience. Now, a low ticket offer to another business selling to a warm audience might be $100. It might be $150. A warm audience might still deem that lower ticket. But when I'm talking low ticket, I'm talking under $50.
Yeah, love it. And so you've built quite a successful business on low ticket offers right from the get-go. And I feel like there's this element around like it's there's an element of needing an audience, right? So when you think about like replacing your income, can you talk to us through like your experience of that of like, well, how did you get to that point and how did the numbers of your followers play into that?
So they didn't at all. And so when we said there's an element of needing an audience, I would actually go the opposite and say this is one of the only business models that doesn't need an audience in order to start working. So when I started This Is Co 4 years ago, like I have a beautiful audience now, beautiful community now, but it's because of the visibility I've gotten both organically with collaboration and with paid marketing. So I'm really about using all channels in the methods I teach at This Is Co, and I do that the same in my businesses. But essentially, you do not need an audience. So when I started This Is Co in 2020, I did like the cardinal sin. I had an old Instagram account that I like repurposed. So I had like a couple of thousand people on Instagram who were not my ideal audience. I had an email list of like under 200 people. And I had actually been filling up my client roster from being on Instagram and also a little bit of word of mouth from when I had, previously had some work in marketing agencies. And so I had this like service-based business that I built. I was like, this can't keep going. I'm not going to achieve my goals with this. There's got to be a way to work smarter. So I made my first digital product. And the way that I actually started to get traction on that was I literally went into a Facebook group, and I've still got these screenshots, and I said, hey, I've made this product. I was wondering if like 10 people would want to test it for me. And I literally gave it away for free to 10 people, got some feedback, got some testimonials, put a post up on my Instagram, put some stories up, had maybe like another 1 or 2 sales from there, tested my sales page, and I was like, yep, that's it. I'm putting ads behind this. And so then I literally went straight to ads and then started scaling from there with the ads. And so the benefit of low ticket digital offers is that when we're running ads, we're immediately getting return on our ad spend when we do these low ticket offers and sales pages and ads right. We immediately start to get return. We're getting clients into our world that then want to go into our next offers as well. But we're also getting indirect visibility from those ads running from our Instagram, from our Facebook. So then that actually starts to help with the overall business visibility as well. So yeah, I would definitely say this is one of those models where you don't need an audience at all. I've worked with 250 people now in this space, and I can tell you about half of those had no audience and have also had amazing success.
Love it. So good. I'm so glad that you shared that because I just wanted to like tap into that right from the get-go because you know that people are going to have that mindset of like, no,
I know.
have the audience. So, within those 250 people, can you give us some examples of different types of businesses that this is working for? Because the hard part with like business owners, we see other marketers do this really well. And in the marketing space, it works really well. But can you give us examples of other businesses that it works for as well?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. So one of my clients that I'm working with right now actually sells a program on how to create abstract art. So that's really one of the ones that I absolutely love, but there's so many others. So I've got somebody who works in like the perimenopause space that's helping people. I've got someone who's worked in mindfulness. I've had people that have worked in like fitness and diet. I've had people that have worked in parenting, like how to stop yelling at your children. All of these people have seen like amazing success, but also the B2B industry is amazingly successful as well. Even outside marketing, things like systems and templates and toolkits and accounting, things that can work in any of those types of ways work as well, even outside marketing, just in B2B.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing that because I feel like it's another one of those blocks that just prevents people from going, oh, but it can't work for me because I'm not a marketer and it works really well for marketers. And I see this happen so much. So I just wanted to like hit that in the bud right from the
I
beginning.
love it.
Yeah. So when it comes to passive, like I really want to talk about the strategic piece and how you find these small ticket offers in your business. But before we even do that, can we talk a little bit about the passive versus like semi-passive? Because I feel like there's this, again, another block around like I am a big believer there's no such thing as real passive in your business, but like if you're obviously setting it up to be, build out that funnel with the Facebook ads, I love that. Tell us a little bit more about your take on passive versus not passive.
Yeah, I love this. And I know we spoke about this at the conference. So I don't believe passive income is completely passive in terms of low ticket digital offers, but I believe it's the most passive income that you can create within your business, aside from having like affiliate links on a blog or something like that, right? And so it's not passive in the sense that we need to create these products and these funnels, but it is in the sense that these products and funnels are probably some of the easiest to create, the shortest to create compared to any other funnels. Like people think like a course, right? Like a larger course. There is a lot more nurture, a lot more creation, a lot more like touches in the funnel that may happen in a course versus a low ticket digital offer, which is normally the offer, a sales page, and then some ads to it because we sell these directly with no nurtures, no webinars, no follow-up emails, nothing like that. So once we've created the product, for my ads and my clients' ads, I'm probably touching those ads maybe once a month. Once this is in place, I've had ad sets that have been going since like, I think I just turned one off that had been going since June 2022 that was still working. And the only reason I turned that off is because I actually updated that product. And so the ad, what was in the ad actually didn't relate to the sales page anymore. And so once you get these products up and running, they essentially are passive in the way that you sell them, but then they're passive in the way that you serve. So the way that I teach low ticket digital offers is there should be absolutely no touch point from you within these offers. Like in mine, I do have a Facebook group that people can come into and ask questions, and I answer once or twice a week, and that's really low lift. And it is a place as well that I can like keep my community going and touch base with my audience and market to them as well. But essentially they're hands-off offers. And then we have semi-passive, which is something like my content mastery club. So I have a membership of 500 plus women who come into a space. I have built like my success steps in there. So they have like a 12-step program that I recorded, one and done, put in there. And then throughout the month, I will give them templates, maybe an expert masterclass, an audit as well. And that just happens weekly. So once per week, I've got something to do in that space. And I spend a few hours a week answering questions in there by design. I actually wanted that to be a supported membership. And that's what I would call semi-passive. So I, as one person, can have a membership of 500 plus women at $50 a month. You can work out the math there. It's like $30,000, $40,000 a month that like is my revenue from that. And I'm doing a few hours work in there a week. So that's what I would call like semi-passive, or something that's leverageable or scalable.
Yeah, love that. So I love that you clarified that, because it is that low ticket, low investment of your time. It might be like a little bit of investment of your time to begin with to create it, but then after that, then you can just have that low little of investment of, or lift. I love that you use the word lift. That's cool. That it's just that low lift of being able to execute on it and continue it going, and it be an income stream for your business ongoing.
Yeah,
Love.
absolutely.
So talk to us about how we can find some of these low ticket offers, because $50 is not much and it's something that's quite low. So when you think about creating it, I'm imagining that before you said like strategic, being really strategic with it, but then also I would imagine it being quite a specific problem, because there's only so much that you can solve in such a low ticket offer, I would imagine too.
Exactly right. So, what I encourage people to do when they're working out what their offer suite should be and then their low ticket digital offer is really spell out your client journey from A to Z. And then, what our low ticket offers really want to be is that A to B style offer, something that someone is like incredibly pain point, solution, or desire aware about. So, I always call it the glass of water versus the cure for dehydration. So, in our businesses, we have the cure for dehydration, right? So, let's say that we are like nutrition experts and we know everything about the cells and everything about the body and everything about electrolytes and everything about this and that and how much water we need and yada yada yada. And we are absolute experts in our field, and we want people to have that entire transformation where they're never dehydrated again and they're at optimal hydration. But what our client normally has on the front end of that is that they get home from work, they're sitting in the car, they walk in, the kids are coming at them, they're not their best self because they've got like a dry mouth, a headache, their throat's a little bit sore, they're not feeling great, and they think, God, I just want a glass of water. And so often in business, we're trying to sell the cure for dehydration. That's normally our high ticket offer, right? And we normally have to do the nurture and the education and the positioning and the profit ready and all of those steps to move someone into our high ticket to create them awareness around this cure for dehydration. And that's amazing, right? And that's part of the marketing process. But if we can find out what our glass of water is in our niche, so if we can find out what people are saying, like, I have this problem and it would be so much easier if, and we create that solution for them, then we have, like, I hate this word, but a captive audience, right? A captive audience that we can then essentially go, hey, Brian, like, did you have a dry, like a sore throat? Yeah. Did you have a dry mouth? Yeah. Were you experiencing a headache? Yeah. Were you a little bit irritable? Yeah. Did that water help you? Yeah, it did. And I loved your water. It was so crisp and refreshing. And I loved the cup you gave it to me in, and all of those types of things. And then you go, Brian, the reason why you're feeling that way is something actually called dehydration. And the reason I was able to help you with this little part was because we started to do this for you. But did you know you can never feel like this again? Do you know that you can go further and, you know, you can think better and this and that? And that's when Brian's going to be like, oh my God, like, sign me up, right? And so this is where, if we can identify something that a client is essentially pain point, solution, or desire aware of, their glass of water, and really create that for them. And then we can move them into our cure for dehydration. Businesses start to absolutely scale with ease. And that client journey for your client just becomes so much more of a no-brainer as well, because they've actually had an interaction with you already as your customer, rather than somebody who is like an audience member on the outside thinking, will this be for me or not?
Yeah, like they've gained so much value from you, they've learnt from you, and then they're willing to invest more. So I love like the selling aspect, because I'm all about sales. So like I love the selling aspect of that, of like you're literally meeting them where they're at, going, I already have the solution. Here it is. It's easy. It's an easy investment. Like, do you want it?
Exactly right. And they're already thinking, I wish I had a glass of water. And you're saying, do you want this glass of water? It's my signature water method from my secret spring, and it's in this special cup because it keeps it cooler longer, and I've given a nice straw. Like, you still make it your own and you still infuse all your knowledge into it. And then someone's going, yeah, I do want that. Oh my God, this water is amazing. What else do you have for me?
Yeah. But I think what you just highlighted there is you really articulated like not just the pain points and the desire, but you've really articulated how you've really thought about the solution and the delivery and how you've created this product or this offer. You've made it irresistible. So it's like a no-brainer. Like, would that be another way to say it? Like, it's a no-brainer that like it ticks all the boxes for me
Absolutely.
and I'm in.
Absolutely, exactly right. And you get to show off your best self authentically in there as well. So this isn't about making like a cookie cutter, go to Canva, get ChatGPT to spit you something out. This is really about looking at your story, your system, your methods, and like infusing that as well. So when I talk about the glass of water, I'm always saying like from a particular spring or a particular glass or with a straw or whatever. And that's because we really want these products to work to establish, set up your entire business funnel as well. And it really starts with making this product something strategic, but something special.
So then would you also say like there's an element there of like you really have to get to the crutch of the problem and make sure that you're really solving that problem for them? Or are you saying it's more like tangible outcomes from something that's simple for them to implement? Like, how is there another way that you would describe that?
It can be either, to be completely honest with you. We absolutely want to make sure that these solutions get outcomes because this is a job interview for you, right? And so, like, I'll give you an example in my business. So, I am basically an omni channel content marketer. In my bigger programs, I help people from brand to audience to social media to websites to meta ads to launching, all of those types of things, all in the one program. But what I know is that like small business owners are like sitting on the floor at 11 o'clock at night or about to go to bed and they're thinking, oh my God, I didn't post on social media again. Or like, oh my God, like this is the third week in a row I haven't got an email out. And so I meet them with those solutions. So essentially I'm helping them with templates for social media and I teach them my 5 pillar content strategy in there. Or I am going and giving them email templates, but I'm also teaching them my serve and sell strategy and actually how to come up with, middle of the funnel email topics in those emails. And so they come into my world in those elements and they get tangible outcomes and they also learn my systems and my skills in that one tiny, tiny area of my niche. And then the next step is, hey, do you want to master content marketing as a whole? Come into the Content Mastery Club. And that could look different in anyone's customer journey. It could be like, go on to this other course and then come and work in my mastermind, or whatever your customer journey is fine. But essentially these products just want to be like a tangible outcome snippet experience of something that is like really front of mind for them.
Yeah. But also, it sounds like as well, like you really over deliver. Like you over deliver in that small piece, right? Because I think that we've all been burnt in the past when we've bought stuff that was
Absolutely.
like average.
Absolutely. And it doesn't mean over deliver in volume. It could mean over deliver in like a methodology that is just like going to ground break, for them. It could be one chat GPT bot that you deliver, but this entire chat GPT bot like changes their world, right? And so it's not necessarily about volume, but it is about value. It's about like over delivering in the sense of what they thought they were going to get. Because I charge $37 for these products, like what they thought they were going to get. They open it and they're blown away.
Yeah, love that. I love that so much. So, with your experience with the clients that you work with on creating low ticket offers, what do you think are some of the barriers that you see that prevent them from getting them up and running, getting them out there?
Sales pages, sales pages, sales pages. Most people write sales pages wrong. I think people are scared of long form sales pages, and I actually have my signature methodology. So, Christine, I'll give that to you. You guys can listening to this can go and access that. Essentially people write sales pages wrong. And when we're writing sales pages for a cold audience, they really need to hit specific things. We need to position, we need to persuade, then we need to pitch, and then we really need to like get someone like, like over the line for profit essentially. And that's the flow our sales pages should go in. But then also offer. Sometimes clients that have come to me after like not taking my programs and not working with me, but come to me have been doing their offers wrong, not really identifying that glass of water and really like trying to almost like create a small ticket digital offer about dehydration, right? And it's like your clients aren't sitting on the floor thinking I'm so dehydrated. Like it's very rare that most people have that understanding. They're thinking like I'm so thirsty, I just want a glass of water, not I'm so dehydrated, I wish I understood like cellular biology or something like that, right? And so often it is the offer. And then I think just ads can be a barrier for some people, just the mindset about ads, because genuinely, I think running ads is actually really easy. And I don't know if you feel the same about that, but
Do now,
ads is
but I
just,
didn't used to.
no, exactly right. Yeah, like
There's a
rather than
learning
just,
curve.
I know, right? Like I think that they can be really easy if it's broken down for them, right? And I think that sometimes there's like a lot of mindset that people are quite scared or they've been burnt before
Yeah.
because of different reasons. And I think that that can be a bit of a barrier.
Yeah. And I think as well, like the more, like you said, I agree with everything you just said. Like it's really meeting people where they're at. And I think that one of the hardest pieces there is figuring out your offer is trying to get out of your own head of what you already know. Like as the business owner, you know you've already probably solved the problem that you obviously help your clients with. So you know it so inside and out. You know the real problem, but you're actually not, that's not what the client's thinking. Like it's not actually not what they're lying in bed at night worrying about. Like they're like not thinking about dehydration exactly like you
That's
just said.
right.
And that's the hardest part, like getting out of your own head and be like, hey, put yourself in your client's shoes and go right back to the beginning. So like I often say to a client, if they're ever stuck with that, like to do market research because often
Mm-hmm.
can't think like your client. So you've got to go talk to potential clients that have never worked with you in the past in order to really figure out like the language that they're using and how they're describing the problem so you can meet them where they're at. And even just
Exactly.
asking your audience, right? Like when you think
Exactly.
about helping your clients find these ideas, is there any other suggestions you would have with thinking about how to find that sweet spot?
Yeah, so I have something called the 10 magic questions in my programs. And essentially, it's the 10 questions that people need to know. And it's things like, when people hear your niche, like the word blah, 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 what comes to mind for them and things like that. So people have a really strong understanding. But what I do is I encourage my clients essentially to do the normal client interviews, right? Like, if you could wave a magic wand and have anything to help you with, your social media struggles, what would that be? So, like, when I create my social media products, if people have seen them, like Complete Content 24/7, they might notice like it's not just captions in there. I've also given them, like, in the most recent one, like many chat templates and chat GPT prompts and like pinned posts and all of these things. And that's because I literally asked those questions. So, like, if I could wave a magic wand and give you anything to help you with social media, after I identified their glass of water as social media, what would that be? They're telling me. So, of course, there's like asking those questions directly, but there's a whole pile of research methodologies that people can use, like just desk research. So, going into Reddit and typing in keywords about your niche and just like reading everything that comes up in there, going and finding Facebook groups and same thing, either using keywords or just going through and reading everything that you see in there. Finding Facebooks where you're allowed to ask questions, like Facebook groups, and actually asking your magic questions in there. There's actually so many groups that allow question asking, and I certainly have done this and still do this to this day. Going into your like peers' blog posts, into their Instagram, reading all of their comments and conversations and seeing what's going on. All of these things are such amazing places to do, like that top of funnel, top of mind customer research.
Because it's really coming back to that. This is designed really for a cold audience, right? So you're thinking about like from the perspective of
Absolutely.
really getting to that cold audience. And I love that because it then becomes lead gen as well for your next offers. So yeah, loving this. Okay. So there was one thing that you said earlier on in the podcast, and I want to come back to it because I think we kind of skipped over it a little bit. So I want to come back to it. You said that there was two types of attention. So can you talk us through your take on this?
Two types of attention.
So I think that that was in relation to the price points. So two types of attention in you have some people that are like obviously low price point, they have a low level of commitment. That's the way that I kind of listen to it as. Is that what you meant?
I don't think a low price point is a low level of commitment. I think people who pay in general pay attention. And so I think if we use like freebies in our business, we can get the most aligned clients signing up for freebies. I don't believe that there's like this negative connotation around freebie seekers. I think the most amazing people can sign up for freebies, but I think that they garner a little bit less attention. They're a little bit easier to think, oh, I've gotten too busy. I'm just going to delete that email and unsubscribe from this email or whatever it is. But I know when people pay, they certainly pay attention in general. And so with our low ticket offers, really we can garnish different types of attention by putting those low ticket offers in place as well as freebies in our businesses. So I have both freebies and low ticket offers. It's not one or the other.
Right, love it. Okay. And so then if we're not really at the stage yet, if a listener is listening to this, not really at the stage of investing in Facebook ads, can you talk us through some organic pieces around getting that visibility on our offers?
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie, it's really difficult on low ticket offers to make any type of like income that's going to warrant a high output organically. So if you don't really have a large organic audience, selling a low ticket offer might make you $37 a week, like, right, if you're only making one sale. So I think it is one of those things where I potentially wouldn't encourage people who couldn't yet afford ad spend to create low ticket digital offers. They are much better putting their time and effort into like a one-to-one or a one-to-many larger group, higher ticket or mid-ticket group program, making money from that and then taking the entrepreneurial risk to divert those funds into meta ads for a low ticket offer.
Yeah, I agree. It's so worth it, but I think that there's a mindset shift that often has to happen with Facebook ads, right? Like people often see it as a cost, but I'd love to hear your take on this. Like it's not necessarily, it is a cost to a certain expense, like yes, but it's important in order for you to get in front of cold audiences. Otherwise, there's only so much you can grow to a certain extent. Like, yes, you can spend hours and hours doing all the organic pieces of content and whatnot and showing up on socials regularly, which we still obviously suggest, and
Yeah.
building consistency, which well, I'd love to get to. But like, what's your take on that investing in ads? How do you look at it?
I always say to people that not running ads is costing you money. Like I really like, coming from marketing agencies and big businesses, I think that I was always really blessed with just the understanding straight away from seeing inside businesses the money that they make from paying for any type of advertising. I don't just mean Facebook ads, I mean anything that gets you more traffic and visibility for a proven offer, right? So, influencer marketing, UGC, billboard advertising, Facebook ads, like depending on what your niche is and where your audience are, it's all worth it. Businesses need more sophisticated traffic than they can often get from organic alone. And don't get me wrong, like you can absolutely be successful with a digital product if you're like a master at viral reels or you're a master at like collaboration or UGC. So those, to answer the other question, are all things that we can do organically. But the reality is for 99.9% of businesses, we're not like hacking the algorithm and being a master at that and being like the algorithm god's favorite that week. And we're just getting normal reach in our organic, which is still powerful. But we then need to be looking for other traffic options to get more traffic to our offers essentially. And so by not investing in meta ads, by not paying to get that traffic into your business who can then pay you, we are losing money. It's really interesting in the small business community, I think, one, how scary meta ads are. And I do understand that a lot of people do meta ads wrong and then meta gets a bad name. Meta ads can glitch sometimes as well. So like it's not a perfect system. So they've damaged their own reputation. But like I find that paid advertising has almost been like demonized in the small business community. When I came from corporate and marketing agencies into the small business community, I was like actually really kind of shocked at like the mindset or barriers around paid ads. To me, it was just another part of business. Like you did organic, and as soon as your organic was converting, you like started getting more traffic to it any way you could, and paid ads was just one of those options. And so, yeah, I think that business owners really need to start thinking like, am I losing money by not paying to increase my traffic? And they need to ask themselves that question, because if they have a proven funnel that can scale, the answer is likely yes, you are losing money by not paying for traffic.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you shared that because you're so right. There was a real negative connotation around people investing in Facebook ads, almost like it was cheating. Like I was like,
Yeah, you're right. It's so crazy. We're not, there's no like, no one's handing out a medal at the end of the day if you got the most organic reach this week. Like, I just don't get it. Like, unless your business is teaching other people how to get organic reach so they don't have to rely on ads, that's pretty much the only business that shouldn't be running ads. Like, if your entire like methodology and values is like F Facebook, then that's cool. But that's like the only business that shouldn't be running
yeah.
ads. Yeah, you are 100% correct.
Yeah. I feel like as well, like again, like there's just sometimes that negative connotation towards doing it. And there's always like that language around like, oh, but how much should they spend on ads behind it? But I don't look at it as a negative. I'm like, look at it as like how they've gone about creating that level of success. Like what can we learn from them? But I also want to just put a caveat in the middle there that it's like there still needs to be a profitability piece there. So if you're spending like, you're having 100K launch, but you spend 100K on ads, that could be a bit of a
Exactly.
problem unless it's a funnel to get into like another offer. Like just
Yeah, like a loss leading funnel or a self liquidating offer.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And like, to me, that's not smart business. So ads are only a CEO move when it's going to like make a CEO happy. So AKA you, right? And so for me, like, because I teach everything, I'm an omni-channel. So I believe in organic, I believe in like earned, and I believe in paid, essentially. Like they're the three types of marketing that I teach and preach and do myself. And so I do really believe that people should be validating offers and funnels organically or in earned ways before moving to paid. So my clients, my methodology and my belief is that no one should get to the point where they spend 100K on a launch to make 100K, unless like something crazy happened with the market during that launch and it was just unheard of, and like they had a proven funnel that, you know, just the timing was wrong or something like that. Unfortunately, that stuff can happen, but like your funnel should already be tested to have ROI on it before you started like looking for ROAS from ads. So for those of you who don't use acronyms, so it should have return on investment or income before you start looking for return on ad spend. So I would want to be making sure that my funnel was converting before I started paying for more people to see it.
Yeah, love it. What are some of the other myths that you have come across with your clients that prevents them from kind of scaling their business and taking it to that next level?
That low ticket offers create low ticket clients.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that to me is just insane. And it's so funny because I'm like, oh, have you ever bought a low ticket offer? They're like, yeah, I bought it. And I'm like, oh, so you're a low ticket client, you're a low value client to people? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, how are you then like thinking that you're going to attract like low ticket clients through your low ticket offers? Like if you know you're a great person who is buying these things to get like a taste test of someone's business. I paid 50,000 US dollars for a mastermind in 2022, and it was amazing. It was the most amazing mastermind. But the way that I got into this person's world was buying like a $222 offer from her, and then went straight into the 50K mastermind. And like a $222 offer in her world, I'm sure people were saying like that was low ticket for her clients. We're
Yeah.
probably saying to her, are you going to attract the worst customers from that or whatever? And then next minute I'm transferring her $50,000. There's this real myth in the industry that that is what happens, and it's just not. Like I was telling you before we got on this call about like, because I work with people at all stages, so while I talk a lot about low ticket because it's often the first piece of the puzzle people need, I also help them with their mid-ticket offers and high ticket offers and how to essentially like tie all of this together in like just one flowing funnel, one customer journey from A to Z. And so when she came to me, she had mid-ticket and high-ticket offers already, and she had tied them together, and she was making 20 or 30K months. And she's like, I need to scale this. I want you to help me focus on these mid-ticket and high-ticket offers. And I was like, well, no, actually, like, let's put a low-ticket offer in place. And she had heard me talk about this. She's like, yeah, let's do it. By putting the low-ticket offer in place, without even touching her mid or high tickets, we scaled her business from 20 to 30K months to 50 to 60K months, just through the low ticket, because she was getting more visibility and that people that pay attention. So this is the type of thing I'm talking about, where low ticket offers don't bring in low ticket clients. Otherwise we wouldn't have seen that impact in her business moving to these mid and high ticket offers. But we did see that because essentially it attracts your ideal client.
Yeah.
And then those people were able to move straight through from that visibility.
Yeah, it makes total sense because like if people are wanting to get that taste tester, like it's a beautiful, beautiful experience that they can have with you. And I was even saying this to a client the other day in one of my masterminds as well. Like she was saying how like you know, how do I speed up, like the lead conversion time is taking longer at the moment. And I'm like, how do we speed it up? And I was like, let's go actually look back on where your clients have come from in the past and what touch points had they had with you and what experiences had they had with you in order for them to see the value in investing this next phase with you. Right? It's like, how do we get them to see the value? And it's like, well, they have to buy into something, or they, and like you said, they pay attention when they spend the money. So it doesn't necessarily have to be high ticket to begin with, but the low ticket allows them to get that taste tester, the experience, see the value of them wanting to spend more. So I just love how you said that story.
Absolutely.
Makes
I
so much.
love that.
Yeah, amazing. So I'd love to know a little bit more about you and your journey with regards to how you've scaled your business. Can you tell us a little bit about what you feel has been like the key indicators that have supported your growth? So what have you focused on, or what have you valued in order for you to get to where you are today?
Um, that's a really good question. So I think there's three things that I personally break down in business that I attribute my own success to and the success of others, but then I'll break these down even further. So it's my marketing, my offers, and me, essentially. And I think so often in business, people can think that just by focusing on one of those areas, like magic's going to happen. Like, oh, I'm just going to start running ads, and like they don't have like the bit like the perseverance skills to see them out, or that they don't have the offer suite to run those two that are actually going to work, because I'll say it and I'll say it again, ads are only sophisticated traffic. And so then the business doesn't work, or the ads don't work, the marketing doesn't work, or they have a great offer but they're not mastering their marketing, or when they're in the offer they're getting like very, very triggered by clients in it, and like they're creating business they don't like to show up in, and then the business falls apart. Or their marketing and their offers are working but like, or will work, but they don't necessarily have like the perseverance or the personal power or something like that to see it through. So in my journey, I think I've always kind of stayed focused on those three things mostly, and kind of blocked out all of the other noise. I don't really do shiny objects or anything like that, but they're the things that I will really focus on most of the time to make sure that I am like staying true to my course. And then if we break those down further, so like in some of the marketing stuff, it's really just staying focused on less is more. So I'm only on Instagram. I repurpose and sometimes write original emails, and I run meta ads. And all three of those places are insanely profitable for me because I just focus on doing them well. And now that I've grown, I'm almost 5 years in business, and I have this incredible offer suite in place and all developed. I'm like, I've got room for more stuff. So I'm about to start a podcast, but only because I want to, and for no other reason, right? Like simply because I want to, not because I need to. And so just focus on what you need to do to start with and do it really, really well. So that's part of the marketing. In the office, I think for me, it has really been understanding that customer journey and breaking that down. And then I started as a service-based business. So I had the income coming in, the customer understanding, the customer interaction, really finger on the pulse there, using my knowledge. And then I started to reverse engineer that. So put the low ticket offer in place, dropped a couple of clients, put the next semi-passive offer in place, which was my content mastery club, dropped a couple of clients, then essentially like put the next in place, which used to be a product called Digital Product to Profit that had a mastermind, stop doing one-to-one clients altogether. And so it really is about understanding that we can have these like super scalable offer suites, but sometimes they happen step by step while we might still be doing other things in the background. And then for me, I think it's always just been practicing like perseverance really, and understanding that a failure is nothing but either an insight, or like when you do things, you're either going to get an insight or an outcome, right? If you fail, it's an insight. If you succeed, it's an outcome. Amazing. So you can only win in business. So whenever I've tried something, if it hasn't worked, I'm like, what did I learn? What's it showing me for next time? Where's it pointing me? And just jumping straight into like the next thing. And that's really helped stop like the fear of failure or procrastination or things like that. Is really just reshaping our mindset about like entrepreneurial journeys are made up of wins and losses. And that's part of the journey, right? That's what leads us to success. And just really keeping that in mind. Like things still sting. And don't get me wrong, I'm still human. Like I think to myself, shit, I really thought that was going to work. Or God, I really like thought I was onto the winning ad set then. I really thought that this was the messaging that was going to increase the sales page conversion. But then just being like, it wasn't. What did we learn? Do it again. And that's the perseverance aspect, right? So yeah, I think that, those things have really been kind of key to getting to the very blessed and beautiful place I am today.
Yeah. Oh, the perseverance piece is massive. And I feel like one of the biggest barriers that prevents people from having that perseverance, yes, it's the mindset, but it's also some of the crap that we see on socials. Like I think it's
I know.
Client the other day, and she was saying like, I feel like I'm failing because I saw this girl online and she made 6 figures in 6 months in her business, and I'm not there yet. And I'm like, yes, but we need to look at like, what did she do? What can you learn from her that allowed her to get to where you are? But also, you also don't know if it's true. This is like the hardest part with socials. You don't know the end of someone's business. You don't know whether they're profitable. You don't know whether they spent, again, she could have spent 100K on ads and then she's actually got no money left. Like, you just don't know.
Exactly right. I went to a conference the other day and there was like a $1 million business owner speaking and was being congratulated for their $1 million like year. And they literally said, we are one invoice away from bankruptcy. Like, do not believe everything like you see. Like, thank you. We're so happy for this award, but it's time to like take the curtains down. Like our business isn't profitable. And like, it was like this moment, like, because people just don't come out and say that, right? That person could be like, yeah, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, I'm $1 million a year business, like a 7-figure business. And they're like, we're one invoice away from bankruptcy, essentially, every single month. Like, this is something that they've been dealing with ongoing. And so, yeah, it's just really important to understand that there is that. But then also, like, where have people been before that? So, like, I'm always really, really, really open and honest that I have a background in marketing and communications and leadership and all of these things. Like, and I've had 3 businesses. I've been an entrepreneur in this entrepreneurial journey for the last 10 years. I literally put a post up 2 days ago, which was my first ever post for my first ever business. I took a photo of my business card, posted it on Facebook and said, like, business cards make this way more official. And it was my 10-year anniversary of that post. So sure, like, I've made a couple of $1 million in the last 4 years at This Is Co. But that happened because of the, what's that, like 6 years before that, essentially, that I had acquired like knowledge and skills. And don't get me wrong, it's not going to take everyone 10 years to make $1 million, because there's people like myself and yourself who bottle up what we've learned and like hand it to people, but it's still not going to be overnight. Like,
Yeah.
I might have done this in 4 years and I might be able to shorten it to a year or 2 for you, but you've still got to stick in it for the year or 2. Like, I can't make it happen overnight for you. And so, like, that's also what we've got to realize as well. It's like, where have people come from before?
Yeah. And you've got to stick to it and be consistent and continue to show up. Like, it's one of those things that I think that you've got to get the runs on the board. Like, what do they say? Like, a skill is like a 10,000 hour journey. Like, it's got to be at
Yeah.
10,000 hours. And sometimes I remember when I first started my business, one of my cousins said to me, you know, you're going to have to make no money for the first 3 years. Like, it's going to be hard. A business doesn't succeed to, you know, make money until the 3 to 4 year mark. And I was like, no, that won't be me. Like, no. And like, it did take a good 3 years for me to
Yeah.
actually traction. Like, I still made money. I was still profitable, and I hadn't fully replaced my well, had I? I think at the 3 year mark, I did replace my corporate income, but it was like, I don't think it was my expectation that I was going to replace it in the first year, right? Like, I was like, I'm willing to put the hard yards in. I'm willing to do this business for the next 10 to 20 years, and the 50 million things I'm going to try and fail at and suck at and all the things are going to
Yeah.
be worth it, because that's the journey that I've signed up for. But I
Yeah.
think the comparison piece definitely comes into play for a lot of people. I'd love to know, how do you stop yourself from comparing, or do you know, do you do it? Is it something that you find like
I
stay in your own
don't
lane?
scroll social media. Like, like, I do not scroll social media. Like, we hurt our own feelings. I swear to God that we are out here just getting butt hurt every day because we put ourselves in those situations. That's the number one thing for me now. Like, if I have like a second account that I will stay up to date with, like, different niches in that I've like, on TikTok, I program my For You page differently. And on Instagram, I've like programmed my Explore page differently. So I can still see like what's trending and what's this, but it's not in my own niche. So I don't go on and see like 25 other content marketers or 25 other like digital business coaches content, because like, I think it is natural to get triggered or get that comparisonitis and then kind of like spiral. But then also, like, I am in masterminds with my peers. And I love my peers, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not actively avoiding them. I have and work with the most incredible people. But I think because I am working with them or in masterminds with them, I also get to see both sides. Whereas like Instagram is just a highlight reel. So get deeper in the room with your peers, as deep as you can, to really actually understand that you are normal and you are doing great, and try and stay away from that highlight reel type stuff as often as you can. I think that's really been what's been a game changer for me.
Yeah. That peek behind the curtain is honestly like, it's like game changing at the same time as being so eye opening, that you're like,
Mm-hmm.
they're just like me. We're human. We do exactly the same thing. We have the same fears, the same doubts, and we're all just
Yeah.
trying to get by. We're all just trying to like do our business. Like, at the end of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Get in more rooms with people rather than this like highlight reel stuff.
Like, I had a podcast out last week or the week before, and it was just a real vulnerable share around like what's happening in my life and like the personal side, but also the business side and what I'm working towards and all these types of things. And one of my clients said to me, I caught up with her for dinner, and she's like, I listened to that episode and it was so nice to hear that you don't have your shit together.
Yeah, neither. Oh, yeah. What do you want to know? Like, I'll tell you everything. I get
Like,
it.
pretty much an open books, but am I not sharing that enough? Like, maybe I'm not sharing enough. So funny. But I'd love to hear, like, just to like kind of finish off, I have 2 more questions for you. So what's one thing that you focus on or that you have built into your business that supports the consistency?
Time blocking has been a big one for me. So Mondays and Fridays are like my work on the business days, and I'm like very, very clear what I need to work on in that, because I do like a 3 month, 6 month, 9 month, 12 month ish plan. after 3 months, it starts to get a bit blurry, but I know generally where I'm going. And I break that 3 months down into like weeks essentially. So I'm like, okay, I'm opening the Content Mastery Club in, this time of like, let's say it's like Q1, right? So we've got January, February, March. So I'll be like, I'm opening it the last week of February. So which means the 4 weeks before that, I'm in a launch runway, which means each of those 4 weeks, I need to send a runway email. And so then I move down to the runway part of my plan. And I'm like, oh, the email part of my plan, I'm like, that week I'm emailing about launch runway, launch runway, launch runway. And so I have this kind of like whole view of my business of exactly where I'm going overall, but what that means for my granular actions. And then I time block. So Monday and Friday, I'm working on the business. So I look at that sheet and I'm like, okay, I've got to get that email up. My social media focus for this week is like in alignment with that. I'm doing this podcast with this person or whatever it is. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is working in the business. And I will like time block stuff in there. So I'll be like, okay, so we're going to work for a few hours with this person. And then I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I just stick to it. And I use the Pomodoro technique because I am like hardcore distraction by so many things going on in my world. And so I'll use Pomodoro. So for anyone that doesn't know it, it's like 20 minutes of work, 5 minutes of rest. Because I'll be like working, I'll be like, oh my God, I didn't write back to my bestie, like speaking about not having our shit together. Like I have like horrible anxiety that's very much managed, but I've had anxiety and depression for like 10 years. So I always go into these like spirals, like she's going to hate me, blah, blah, blah. And so like normally I'd just be very reactive to that. And Pomodoro has helped me to be like, she's not going to hate you in 15 minutes any more or less than she hates you right now. So like get this done and in your 5 minute break, like right back to her. And so like, it's just those little things I'll often get distracted by. And so, Pomodoro has really helped me to stay on track. So it's kind of 3 levels, like business planning, time blocking, and then Pomodoro.
Yeah, love it. So good. And so, honestly, I've loved everything you've shared today. It's been such a joy chatting with you. And thank you so much for diving so deep into the low ticket offer
Pleasure.
and your journey. And so, just to finish off the podcast, I'd love for you to share with us what if someone came to you and said, I really want to take my business to the next level. What do you suggest? What advice would you give them?
Your offers, your marketing, you. Like that is what I just keep coming back to. Anyone that comes and asks me that, like, what are you doing around your marketing? What are you doing around your offers? What are you doing around you? Are you marketing in a way that's sustainable and actually making a difference? Are your offers actually set up in alignment with like what you want to be doing day to day? Are they set up in alignment with how your clients need to move through them? And are they set up in alignment with whatever your income goals are? And then who the hell are you when you're running your business? Like, do you feel empowered? Do you feel like you have leadership? Do you feel like you have the skills that you need? Like, what do you need to do around that to kind of get you to where you need to be? So just break down those 3 things, do a self audit, and then go from there.
Love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much. It's been such a joy. Can you share with us where we can find you and what you're working on next?
Yeah, so to hear about the types of stuff that we were talking about today, head to This Is Corinda on Instagram, Carinda. That's really where I like talk about this stuff, about how to get scaling in businesses. And I'm actually working on a scalable business school, which, no surprises, breaks down your offers, your marketing, and you to create passive, semi-passive into like mid-ticket and high-ticket offers as well in a way really unique to you. But if you want to know about how to get seen, loved, and selling using general marketing as well, head over to This Is Co. This is CO, and that's what I do over in that neck of the woods.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure
My
chatting.
pleasure, Christine. Thank you for having me.